Hi students, I am Dr. Hanjabam Barun Sharma, Associate Professor in the Department of Physiology, IMS BHU, and today I will be talking about storage and transportation of the sample specimen, why it is important. The first one, as an objective, you should be able to set correct temperature or time for different specimen, depending upon a specimen it is required. Choose the transport method, which transport method has, whether it has to be hand, you have to bring that sample by your hand and bring it to the the station where the analysis will be done, and explain analytical changes when mishandled, different, what are the complications which may be there, and what are the rejection criteria. You have to follow the different guidelines and rules, like for example CLSI GP 41 and CAP rules, like CLSI is the clinical and laboratory standard institute. GP 41 deals with the collection of the diagnostic venous sample, blood sample, and CAP is the College of American Pathologists. So there are different rules are there, Indian specific rules are also there, which you have to understand, and different rejection, the criteria you have to understand, and you have to know how to prevent the rejection because of storage and transportation error. You have to minimize that error. So pre-analytical truth, which you have to understand, is up to say 70 to 80%. It may vary. It may vary from 60% to 70 or 70 to even 80%. Lab error occurs before the actual analysis. That is, in the pre-analytical state itself, this error can happen. That means your role is absolutely important. How to correctly do it, what are the correct procedure which you have to follow, so that this such a high percentage of the error can be reduced in the pre-analytical stage itself. The transportation error is one of the number one causes for hemolysis, and hence the false result. Perfect draw become useless if it is left out. That means if proper storage is not there, if proper transportation is not there, even if you perfectly draw the blood also, it is useless basically. So this one you have to understand. The generally specimen, from a general point of view, specimen they require storage in a cool and separate area. The temperature can be around say 25 degrees centigrade or other specified temperature as per the requirement, as per the sample, and so as to keep the sample secure and away from the general public. You have to understand this thing, and making safe transportation of blood and blood products is part of the best practice, will improve the quality of the result from laboratory testing, because even if you do perfect draw of the blood sample, if you don't follow this thing, then the result will be useless, and 70 to 80% error can happen. So this thing you have to understand. Certain temperature requirement are there depending upon the specimen. Like for example, if you see the refrigerated, it may range around 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. Room temperature is approximately 18 to 25 degrees centigrade. Frozen is around say minus 20 degrees centigrade, or colder. Warm means around 37 degrees centigrade near the body temperature. And the specification, they varies depending upon different type of taste which is required. So different taste may require different storage. So you as a phlebotomist, you have to understand what are the temperature requirement, what are the storage criteria requirement, what are the transportation criteria which are requirements, so that proper the sample is, sample is, after taking the sample very properly, after the venipuncture, then you have to store and you have to transport with minimum error and with all the perfection. So this is your duty. So your duty does not restricted only for venous picture also, it is much beyond that. So CBC, approximately you can see there the time and the temperature chart, which you can it is just a, you have to understand that these are just a guideline, a brief guide. So it is not exhaustive, these are not exhaustive. You yourself has to study. Your curiosity should be there, so that you may be able to learn for more from the other sources also. So these are just a guideline. So CBC, there is a complete blood count, 24-hour room temperature, RT, 48-hour refrigerated. These are the things which are temperature and time chart is there. PT INR prothrombin time INR 24-hour spoons means centrifugation. If the blood is centrifuged to separation of the different component, it is known as spoon, that is centrifugal. Unspoon is an uncentrifugated sample. Blood chemistry, different biochemical chemistry, 8-hour unspoon sample is there. Ammonia, for the ammonia level 15 minute on ice, lactate on ice, blood culture, room temperature, ABG 30 minute on ice. So these are the different requirement is there, and different temperature and the timeline time duration is also there. But this is just a guideline. You have to for basic other things which you have to read the guideline of the different agency, what are the requirement is there, and accordingly you have to follow. What happens when something is wrong? If you are not stored a sample properly, if no proper transportation is done, then many things can happen. Then ultimately will lead rise to wrong result, and wrong result means wrong medication, wrong prognosis. So it is a big major error which one should not do. The glucose may increase decrease also 7 milligram per deciliter per hour depending upon this thing. Potassium may rise. Suppose is a sample is hemolyzed, then the potassium which is inside the red blood cell will be leak outside, and it may increase the potassium level say by 0.5 millimole per liter per hour depending upon the situation. So all this thing can happen. Then LDH AST ratio may increase also. LDH oblique AST may increase after the from the hemolysis. Prothrombin time prolong if centrifugation is there, if refrigerator is there, if refrigerated, then fall sleep prolongation can happen, platelet clumping may happen, bacterial growth may happen. If suppose if you store it not properly, and if it is for blood transfusion, then the bacterial contamination may, number of bacterial load can also increase. The amount of bacterial load can also be increased. So major source of infection can also arise. So your job is very important, and accordingly you have to do. Different transport methods are also there, like for example pneumatic tubes may be there, no coagulation sample, unspooled ABG or culture, this has to be avoided using that tube. Then hand delivery is, if possible, then for all sample hand delivery, because hand delivery is considered to be one of the best. This thing, courier log box can be done only spoon sample, spoon only. Eye slurry for ammonia, lactate, ABG. What is slurry? Slurry is that it is some crushed ice will be there, some liquid water will be there, so a semi solid a paste type consistency is there, which consists of the crushed ice. These are ice slurry, and they are important for all transportation of the ammonia, lactate or ABG. And warm box are also important. Warm, we have already seen that how much is the warm. It is that around 37 degrees centigrade. Here you can see that warm means around 37 degrees centigrade. In the previous slide we have already discussed. So warm box may be required for coal agglutinin. If coal agglutinin is there, then you have to maintain that particular temperature. So transportation is very important. Transportation of the blood sample outside the hospital. If outside the hospital is there, then you have to equip the transportation vehicles with the blood spillage kit. Blood spill can occur, and how to manage blood spill in that particular time, how to do it. That is also very important, and you have to equip that particular vehicles with that blood spillage kit. And transportation of the lab sample, they need closed system that keeps the sample upright and snugly fitted in the stackable trays or rack, so that damage is minimized. Clearly labeled blood sample container is very important. Some samples such as coal agglutinin, they may need to be transported in a warm transportation system, because 25 degrees centigrade transportation is not universal. Depending upon the requirement, upon the investigation, temperature may vary. It may not be 25 degrees centigrade, it may not be 8 degrees centigrade. So warm warm transport system are also required. The closed system is important. Why? Because it keeps the blood sample contained in case of breakage or spillage, if there is any kind of the breakage, if there is any kind of the spillage, then that sample is contained, and clearly level blood sample container with the tracking system, they allow sample to be traced later on. So exactly where your sample is, whose sample is there. So leveling is very important, and proper level sample can be traced also. So this you have to understand. Packaging like CLSIGP 41 guidelines rules, you have to understand. Leak proof primary tube is there, leakage should not be there. Absorbent materials may be may be there. Secondary container may also be required. Ice pack not touching the tube directly is there. Refrigerate or frozen levels are also there. So you have to you have to be very careful what are the things which are there, how error during the packaging can be limited. Proper leveling is also required. Proper temperature you have to maintain. Proper packaging in a leak proof is also required. So all these things you have to understand. Special specimen are require special condition also. Blood culture is mostly in the room temperature is always there. ABG, as I've already told you, the icing, that is ice temperature is there. Cryoglobulins is around 37 degrees centigrade, that is warm. This thing, homocysteine ice may be required, and if trace element is there, then metal free has to be there, because the contamination of any kind of metal will give false result. So if you are focusing, if the investigation is focusing on the trace metal, then metal free, the container should be metal free, that is contamination from any kind of the metal should be avoided. So special specimen, special condition, special treatment has to be given. Rejection criteria is also important, because you should know what are the wrong, what are the the specimen which require rejection. Otherwise, if you analyze the system, if you permit that rejected sample, then entire result will be you compromise. It will be false result will be there. So just giving an example, hemolyzed potassium, if a sample is there, the hemolyzed sample is there, the potassium may be unnecessarily very high. It may falsely be very high, because all the red blood cell inside the potassium inside the red blood cell will be pour out in the plasma or blood, and hence the potassium potassium assessment will give false. Clotting is there in case of the light blue tube, that is clotted light blue tube should be rejected, because it may affect this thing. Ammonia sample delayed on ice, if for the ammonia assessment, if the much delayed is there, then the result will not be good, the result will be false. So that's why delayed on ice, all this thing you have to understand. And contamination for the blood, if you are if you require for the blood culture and contamination is there, then that sample you have to reject it. So this thing you have to understand, you have to know what are the rejection criteria and how to do it, that is also important. So you can prepare a daily checklist, a daily checklist on based on which you can improve your performance. What are the basic things which you have to understand? What are the things which you cannot skip? What are the error, source of the error which you have to avoid? What are the correct method? All these things you have to understand. Like just a simple, give you an example of 8 to 10 times mixing can be done by inverting the blood collecting tube 8 to 10 times immediately after the collection. If and vigorous shaking should be avoided, because it may lead to hemolysis and other things. Level bedside is important. Correct temperature bag has to be used. Delivery on time, and no hot car or sun unnecessarily exposure to hot temperature or hot car or during the transportation. All these things you have to avoid. So basic things, these are the basic things which are required for the basic requirement is there, and accordingly you have to do it. Key rules, a perfect stick is worthless if mishandled. This thing you have to understand. Even if you do venipuncture perfectly, even if you draw the blood perfectly, if proper storage is not done, if proper transportation is not done, then it is worthless. The result will be affected. The result will give rise to false result. the investigation will lead rise to false results. So a perfect stick is worthless if manhandle. You have to say, like, suppose if you need ice, then it has to be now. You cannot delay it, especially in case of the ammonia and the other things. Never freeze unspoon blue top tubes. So you should not freeze unspoon means uncentrifugated. Never freeze whole blood. You have to avoid freezing whole blood. And blood culture, then you have to send promptly. You have to avoid any chance of contamination. It has to be sent promptly for for analysis, and accordingly you have to handle it. And if there is any unsure is there, then it is always better to hand carry it. You have to carry by the hand. So if some risk is there, because unnecessary vigorous checking will be avoided. You have to be very careful. You have to carry it by hand. So in that way, if when unsure, then hand carry is preferred. So these are the key rules which one has to understand. These are basic rule, common sense rule. You have to understand, and other specific rules are also there, depending upon what type of the specimen, what type of the investigation which is required. So that you have to understand. You have to read the different guidelines. You have to follow the different prescribed things from different recognized agencies, and accordingly you have to do it. Okay. Thank you very much.